Hey everyone, and welcome back to our series on the life of Alexander the Great. When we last left him, Alexander had been crowned in Babylon, hailed not as a conqueror, but as a liberator. But the riches of Babylon were just an appetizer for what lay ahead. Leaving the great city behind, Alexander set his sights on another jewel of the Persian Empire, the ancient and wealthy city of Susa. In early December of 331 BCE, the Macedonian army marched east. Susa wasn't just any city. It was one of the Achaemenid Empire's primary administrative capitals and a favored winter home for the great kings. More importantly, it was a major storehouse of imperial treasure. The journey of 200 miles took about 20 days, and just like with Babylon, Alexander's reputation preceded him. The Persian governor of Susa, a man named Abulites, was no fool. He had heard about Darius's defeat at Gaugamela. He knew Babylon had opened its gates without a fight, and he knew Alexander had treated its governor with respect. Seeing the writing on the wall, Abulites decided resistance was pointless. He sent his own son ahead to meet the approaching Macedonians, offering the complete and unconditional surrender of Susa and its legendary treasury. Alexander, of course, accepted. When he arrived at the Chuspich River near the city, Abulites himself came out to formally submit. Alexander then entered Susa in triumph. There was no battle, no bloodshed, no siege. The city that had been a center of power for centuries, first for the Elamites and then for the Persians, was now his. And what he found inside was simply mind-boggling. The treasures of Susa dwarfed anything Alexander had seen before. Ancient historians tell us he seized somewhere between 40,000 and 50,000 talents of gold and silver. Now, to give you some context, a single talent was a fortune, enough to pay a skilled mercenary for years or build a warship. We're talking about a sum of money so vast it's almost impossible to comprehend. With this one seizure, Alexander's financial worries were over. He could pay his army, fund his government, and finance his campaigns for years to come, all with the Persian king's own money. But it wasn't just gold and silver. The treasury was packed with the luxuries of an empire. There was exquisite royal furniture, chests filled with incredibly expensive purple-dyed robes, and elaborate tapestries. He also found items of immense historical and symbolic value. Among them were two bronze statues that had been stolen from Athens by the Persian king Xerxes nearly 150 years earlier. They depicted Harmodius and Aristogeiton, celebrated in Athens as heroes who had stood up to tyranny. In a brilliant propaganda move, Alexander ordered the statues to be sent back to Athens, reinforcing his image as the avenger of Greece. While in Susa, a famous incident occurred. Alexander took his seat on the royal throne of Darius, but the throne was built for a taller man, and Alexander's feet dangled, unable to reach the footstool. An attendant, noticing his discomfort, brought a small table for him to rest his feet on. According to the story, one of Darius's eunuchs, who was present, burst into tears. When Alexander asked why, the man explained that he was crying to see an item from his master's dinner table, now being used as a footstool. The moment captured the dramatic reversal of fortune, and it said that even Alexander was moved. Showing a flicker of empathy for the king he was relentlessly pursuing. As for governing his new prize, Alexander followed the smart template he had established in Babylon. He reappointed Abulites as the civil governor, a shrewd move that used the existing Persian administration and encouraged other Persian nobles to cooperate. But he was careful not to give one man too much power. He put a Macedonian general in charge of the military garrison, and another Macedonian in charge of the treasury. The civil government could run, but the money and the muscle remained firmly in Alexander's hands. With the city secured, Alexander gave his army a well-deserved rest. He used the newly acquired treasure to give lavish bonuses to his soldiers, cementing their loyalty and boosting morale for the challenges ahead. It was here that he also received crucial reinforcements from back home. Fresh troops to replace his losses and help garrison the vast new territories. Alexander also made sure that Darius's family, his mother, wife, and children, who were his honored captives, were settled comfortably in Susa. He continued to treat them with the utmost respect, a calculated act of chivalry that enhanced his reputation across the Persian Empire. The peaceful capture of Susa was another masterstroke. Alexander now controlled 2 of the 4 great capitals of the Persian Empire. Its wealth was now fueling his war machine, and its administrative centers were under his command. But he wasn't done. From Susa, Alexander prepared to march into the very heartland of the Persian dynasty, a region called Persis. There lay the ceremonial capital of Persepolis and the royal tombs of Pasargadae. The core of the empire was now within his reach, but it would also hold some of his campaign's toughest terrain and most ferocious opposition. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time as Alexander marches on Persepolis. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss the next chapter in this incredible story. See you then.